This is WFO Radio.
Hello and welcome to a special edition of WFO Radio, the 341.59 mile per hour top fuel interview with Brittany Force. Every once in a while, the sport of drag racing really stands above every other motorsport, and it is because of speed milestones. You only have to think back to Kenny Bernstein's 301.70 at Gainesville Raceway, 1992, and the shockwave it made through motorsports. It is still talked about to this day, but recently, 341 by Brittany Force. She got it done. Some might think the last milestone in drag racing history for such big speeds. She joins us now, Brittany Force. Brittany, welcome to WFO Radio. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me.
I'm super excited to talk to you about this because you have got an experience that nobody else has. 341.59, the only top fuel racer to ever do it. But before we talk all about it, let's watch the moment that it happened for all of our viewers out there, people wanting to relive this history. And then afterwards, you'll walk me through what happened. Sound good?
Yeah, works for me.
NHRA on Fox, Brian Loans. I was in the booth as well. Brittany goes 341. Here we go.
This should be absolute target practice for the likes of Brittany Force and Doug Castello. Let's see what they can dial up. Wow, look at this. Doug Castello goes 364.6 at 333 miles an hour. Brittany Force chased him across the finish line at 366.7, a 301 mile an hour shot to the 8th mile.
Look at the top speed.
This is officially the fastest speed that we've seen in a 341.59 mile an hour speed. Good gravy. That is the fastest run in the history of Top Fuel. That is the second fastest run in the history of drag racing. What in the world is going on here tonight?
Brittany Force, 341 miles per hour. When I say those numbers, what goes through your mind?
Man, she was flying on that run. We really needed that. We needed a solid run. We didn't get in there on that first run. We had no power. Car shut off, no power. And this one we needed. You know, it's 4 white here. We want to do as great as we can. We want to get down there every single lap, you know, in each lane. So it was unfortunate we didn't get down there the first one. That one, 341, that's awesome to have that top speed, something like that for this HendrickCars.com team. We're all really excited about that. That's David Grubnick, John Collins backed.
John Collins backed, Brittany Force, you got the job done. Take us back to that moment. Did it even make sense at that time?
Well, I knew that Grubnick's always chasing it. He's always chasing ET. He's always chasing mile per hours. You know, we hold the ET back in Reading in 2019 when I first came on board with Grubnick. Then we held mile per hour in the year we won the championship in 2022. We had it in St. Louis at 338.4. And then we went to Pomona, my home track, and 338.9. So we had it there. And Grubnick's big thing, he always gets our teams together, our team together, and we talk, you know, what is our goal? What are we trying to do? Are these national records, these track records, are these important? Are they valuable to us? Or we only care about coming here and winning? And it's kind of this back and forth. You want to have your cake and eat it too. You want both. Of course you want these national records, but of course you want to win on Sunday, because that's what it all comes down to at the end of the season, is you want to be crowned champion. So he always brings us in for, you know, these meetings where we're all involved and we all have a say in what we go out on the racetrack and do. And he's been saying for, you know, the last couple of years, they're catching up to us. They're right on our tail. So I think, as much as maybe he won't admit it, I feel like he was also motivated on his own, seeing everybody, you know, trying to catch us. They're right on our tail. And he wanted to, you know, step up again and put a mile per hour like that on the board. And he did. It was Charlotte. It was ZMAX. We were running HendrickCars.com. And it was a huge moment for our team.
Well, history. It's going to go down in history. The run will be replayed. People will talk about it. There will be people who lie and say that they were there for it when they weren't. And it's just amazing that it happened on a Friday night at ZMAX, a very fast track, a very exciting track. And as you just did a driven special with NHRA, and I just watched it, guys. I highly recommend everybody, whenever you're watching this in the future, go back and find the driven special put out on NHRA's YouTube channel, because it was really the behind the scenes of the entire next day after this happened. And you revealed that Grubnik asks you guys to raise your hand, like you want to go for a record. Did he ask you guys if you want to go for 341 that night?
No, it was not that weekend. I'm talking probably last season was when, we had the conversation. Maybe we had it early on in the season. I can't pinpoint an exact time, but it always comes up. What is important to you guys? This is, your team as well. We are all one team. What do you guys want to accomplish? Again, is it about winning races on Sunday in a championship, or do we also want to try to go after those ETs and mile per hour and track records? So again, he leaves it up to us. It's all encompassing. We all get to have an opinion in it, and he values our opinion very much.
You've been fast so many times, David Grubnik, even prior to that when Alan Johnson was your crew chief. But really when Grubnik came on board, that's when the booming speeds really started to happen. And you have more experience than anyone over, let's call it 335, right? Like, you've got so many runs over 338, 339, but this 341. So can you describe it? Like, what did it feel like? You're the only person to have this experience. Did you sense that this could be something special as you were going down the racetrack?
On that run, unfortunately, I lost connection, so I wasn't able to get on the radio and talk to my guys. And it felt like a solid, good run. It didn't stand out to me that I didn't jump out on the other end thinking, we just went 341 miles per hour. No, that wasn't it. It was, again, it's also 4 wide. So when you get down to that top end and you're climbing out, it's kind of chaos. You're pulling up next to all these other cars. There's just a lot of commotion. There's a lot going on. And if you really look at that interview, I haven't really processed the 341 until the very end of the interview. If you actually watch it, I go on talking about how we hadn't, we'd been struggling and our goal was to get down the racetrack. And Vandergriff had said it to me, and it's still processing in my head. And it's funny because my team got back to, our pits and they hadn't realized what we'd done. So it was very much, I got out of that car. I don't even know if I was given a time slip, but I need a few moments to sit down and process. And I'm a visual. I like to look at something and see it to process it. So it was very overwhelming in that interview. I think it was halfway through the interview when I actually realized we went 341 miles per hour.
Well, it was halfway through the next run when we all realized you went 341 miles an hour. For those that don't know, the computer screen readout is different. You got Doug Coletta over on the other side of the track. He's setting the track ET record. You're setting the world speed record on the other side of the track. There's 2 cars in the center. Very chaotic situation, the 4 wide, but very entertainment, because that is a memorable run for everyone that saw it. And we'll talk about it for forever and ever. So it seems like you've now had some time to process it. What has been the response to this historic run? We can compare it to Kenny Bernstein, and to this day, he's the king of speed, right? Kenny Bernstein was out there in Pomona. People went wild because they know he was the first over 300. What kind of response did you get to this historic run?
The response, yes, it now has definitely set in, and it's really was getting with my team and just talking about the run. I stole as many time slips as I could just to give out to my team, so we all had a copy of it. And we sat down at the end of the weekend like we always do, and it's something we're all very proud of. It took every single one of us to make that happen. So it's something that we're now hopefully a part of history. I want to hold these records. I hope I'm the last one standing to hold them. And if we have to, chase this down again in the future, we will if we lose it. But we definitely want to hold it. And I think we will hold it for quite some time now. But this team, this entire David Grubnik run team, we're very proud of that. We're freaking pumped to have that.
I love that you are pumped. And I'm pumped to see it. There was so much hype around 340 for so many years. It's been floating around out there, but there was even discussion like, maybe people don't want them to go to 340 and maybe this and that. And this year it's just like, full steam ahead, if you will. And we saw 341.59, but you are not the fastest car in your camp. Even John Force Racing has the 2 340 cars on the NHRA tour. That's amazing. I
know that was one of the first things. Once again, it settled in and I realized that we'd gone 341.59. My next question was, hold on. Austin, I know, went 341 something. What was it? And that was my next big question. Did we get past Austin Prock, or does Austin actually hold, the top speed? And unfortunately, he got us. He got us beat by a little. So we're going to chase him down. We're going to have to go after it again.
Yeah, he's
at the top.
And he's going to let you know about it. From what I understand, Austin is eager to happily let you know that within the camp. I love that competition between you, the fun competition. Yes,
I love Austin. He's been, so great to work with over the years when he was in, dragsters, and, we could sit down and he could help me out with driving, whatever it was. I love having him in our camp. He brings such a good spirit, a good energy to our team. He's always there if I need help. And he's he's such a great driver. He is just incredible. What he's done since he started, how long he's, everything that he's accomplished. We're all very proud of him, proud to be teamed up with him. But I definitely want to chase down his mile per hour record.
And I think you might. That's the thing, is this isn't over. That was a great night at a track very capable, that there are some more, and especially later on in the year. That's where countdown time, those big speeds are going to come back, and you need to be able to do it. You mentioned John Collins in the interview. JC was there last year, this year now, kind of integrated into the team. Quiet character, very experienced, good guy. What's your take on JC now that you're a couple of years in?
Yeah, JC's been great to work with. Him and Grubnick are both just outstanding. He is very quiet. He definitely took a while for me to warm up to him. But that's just his personality. He's way different personality-wise than David Grubnick, who's very loud and in your face, and you know exactly what he's thinking. John Collins is a little different, but again, he's been incredible. He's a part of this, the reason we've been so successful. You know, we've been able to capture these mile per hours, and you know, we won last season. So very proud. Glad he came on board with us. I think, again, we'll see more in the future with both of them.
All right, so you just did this driven special for NHRA, reality TV, right? Like 30 minutes of just Brittany behind the scenes. Was it fun? Did you enjoy it? You revealed many details about your life. I'll hit you with a couple of them, but generally, what was the experience like?
I enjoyed it. It took me a little while to warm up to it. Again, I was unsure how, you know, the whole thing was supposed to flow. Are they just following me and just, you know, quietly behind me watching what I do in a day? Or is it more me just coming up with my own questions and sharing what I think, you know, fans and followers want to know about me, what's going on in the day? So in the beginning, I was a little quiet, trying to figure out how it all worked. And then by the end of it, I think I figured out you know, how it worked. And again, it's, you know, speaking to everyone from NHRA, they said it's up to you. However, you know, we've had drivers who don't say anything and we quietly follow them. And we have drivers who talk to us and entertain us the entire time. So I feel like you got a little bit of both. It was definitely fun. Now that I've done it again, I told NHRA, now that I know how it works, I'm open to do it again.
That's great. And, you know, Narciso getting in on the action as well. You're getting a little moment with him. But you had reality TV experience. I almost forgot that for a moment. It was like another lifetime ago, but you had a full production. And really many of the people that I know that really ask about the Force family learned about the Force family from that show. And so you actually have reality TV experience.
Yes, that was back in 2006, 2007. That was forever ago. I was never a fan of it. I didn't like when we're at the racetrack and there's cameras on you, that's different. You got a race car behind you. You have your team behind you. It's different. But when you're going to the grocery store and you have 5 crew following you with cameras and lights and mics, there's no way to be natural. For me, it didn't come natural. It was really difficult just to act like 5 people aren't hovering over you with cameras and you're mic'd up. It was a different experience. I was proud of, you know, what we built and what we accomplished and how the final pieces came together. I do have moments where I was a little upset how things went together. They kind of build and create what they want with the footage that they have. So I was never a fan of it. Again, my family did it, but it kind of opened up doors for us. So I won't go back on that. It was an experience in its own, for sure.
It's interesting. You became a 2-time world champion since that. Like I don't want my teenager years broadcast on TV. Just saying. Yeah. How's your dad doing? I see him on the starting line. His health seems better and better and better. And every time that I talk to him, at least my take is that he's like more and more John Force. You see him all the time. My vibe is though that he wants to be. He doesn't like watching. He's not a good spectator.
Yeah. I mean, that is a struggle, but he's doing great. Thank you for asking. We just celebrated his birthday just the other night. We took him to dinner. The whole family got the whole family together, and it was nice just to be able to go to dinner and hang out. And yes, he's just finding his role. It's difficult. I mean, he's only ever known. I mean, he wears so many hats. He does everything. He's built this, company over years, John Force Racing. Like I said, he wears so many hats in the big picture of it all. But one of his favorite hats was the driving part of it. So now that this season we've started the season and that's removed at the moment. It's you could tell it's tough. I mean, it's no different than when I lose or I last season didn't qualify at an event and then show up on Sunday and I just have to go stand there with my team and watch. It's really difficult. I almost felt like I didn't know what to do with myself. So he's figuring it out. NHRA, the fans, we all still need John Force. So I'm glad he's out there with us. He's been at every event this season. He stands behind every single car and proud of him for everything he's been through and that he's back with us.
Yeah. So true. Like the idea that he is with us, it's like every time I see him, I want to give him a hug. But if everybody feels that way, they can't do that, right? Like we'll beat him up. You mentioned the race you DNQ'd at. It's kind of interesting because that's the race we're going to next, the Gerber Collision and Glass Route 66 Nationals. And I dug up one of your quotes after the race was over. I think it was on Auto Week. It was like, I believe these tough times are preparing us for something bigger. And you didn't know at that time, but it was just not the bigger thing that we all thought it was going to be. It was being strong enough to deal with the very challenging situation around your father's crash in Richmond, which makes going to a race after a DNQ like pale in comparison in seriousness. But I do imagine you want to go back to Route 66 Raceway and prove a point.
Yes, absolutely. It was supposed to be a really exciting event for us last year in Chicago. We debuted a peak dragster and I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, we got, my dad's funny car, my dragster out on the racetrack and we did a full photo shoot. And it was there was so much built around it. It was really exciting to have this car that matched my dad. I've looked up to my dad my entire life. He's my hero. He's the reason, I've had this chance to drive and be successful in this race car and in this racing industry, and to have a car that matched him. It was just something really unique, really special. So when we didn't qualify, it was really difficult. Again, when you fast forward and compare it to other things, it's the smallest thing on the scale. But in that moment, it was tough. We want to do well every single weekend. We want to qualify at every event. We want to, make our sponsors happy. And, Peak, came out with us. And to be able to not give it back to him was really difficult. So, we put that weekend behind us and we move forward through the rest of the season. We got our win in Las Vegas. And yes, now definitely this season, we want to redeem ourselves. We want to qualify well and we want to go out and win the thing.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that happen. And I know the fans will be as well. So Monster Energy, their whole thing is extreme. I mean, that's the vibe, right? Action sports, extreme. And I can't think of anything more extreme than 341 miles per hour, an experience that you have that no one else has. You did reveal, though, in the Driven interview, are you really drinking hot monsters all day long? Like the same monster all day long, Britt? It's
typically just a Sunday thing. So I'm very superstitious. I feel like most drivers out in NHRA drag racing are very superstitious. We all have our own thing. But for me, it's if I start my day with whatever my monster flavor is, whatever my monster can is, and we win the race, well, I can't throw that away. I got to keep that, carry it on from round to round. And so, yes, at these hot racetracks, when it's 100 degrees outside and at final round, I will be drinking a hot monster. I don't care. That's the way it goes. I'm superstitious, and you have to repeat what you started until the end of the day.
That's a very drag racer thing. It's true. They're all very superstitious. So let's think big picture before we let you go. Obviously, Chicago is going to be a lot of fun, and I'm excited for the rest of the season. But you spent a considerable amount of races in test mode. That's a long time ago now. You've gotten out of that. Do you feel like this is a team that can contend and win a championship, which would be your third championship. That would be a huge milestone. Do you feel like you got what you need? You're where you want to be. Grubnick's got what he needs. The crew seems to be ready to go. But in terms of like personal vibe, confidence, feeling from this point forward, when you show up at any track, do you have that feeling that you can win the race that you're at?
Absolutely. And if any one of our guys, any one of myself, crew chiefs, if we didn't have that, then we shouldn't be showing up to the racetrack every single day, because what we do, it is dangerous. And, there are obstacles any way you look at it, and you really have to love what you do. You have to be motivated. You have to be determined to come out here and be successful. And that is the ultimate goal. We won another championship. I won one with David Grubnick in 2022, and we want to do it again. We're off to a great start. I think last season, it took us all season long, but we finally captured that win in Las Vegas. And that was really where we started. Right before that was when we started to turn a corner. And I knew our first win of the season in 2 seasons was right around the corner. So I already feel we're way ahead of ourselves this season. We set that mile per hour record in Charlotte. So again, I think that speaks very highly of our season and shows the tone of our season and the direction we're going. I think we're in a good place, and our first win's right around the corner.
Yes, you've always wanted to perform for your sponsors. That's a John Force thing as well. But is it a little different when your sponsor is also your brother-in-law? What about that? Graham Rahal Performance coming on board. We're really reeling this guy in. It won't be long till he's in a car eventually. Sorry, Graham. That's what I think. What about that?
That was awesome. Bringing on GRP, Graham Rahal Performance, it was really special to me because every sponsor is unique and special in its own way, but this was family. This was tying IndyCar and drag racing, and Graham is my brother-in-law. So to be able to display GRP on our car, go out, try to qualify well, win an event for him, it was very special. That will be one of my favorite cars for a very long time.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. And he seems excited about it. You never know what people like. This guy has competed in the Indy 500. His dad is Bobby Rahal. He's had a totally different racing experience, but he's had an amazing racing experience. Whenever I see him, I'm like, man, I hope this guy really loves this the way that you do. And we all do. And that day, I don't know, he had a different look in his eye. And I know he's going to get that chance a few more times.
Yeah, very happy to have, teamed up with him this season. It was in the works for a while. So when it finally all came to the surface and we were able to debut that car, it was very exciting. So we'll see, more down the road. We don't know where it'll go, but we have GRP on the car, all our cars, for the remainder of the season. Excellent.
Is there anything else you would like to say to your fans out there as they are, they ride along with you for these amazing moments? The 341 is just crazy. It's something we'll be talking about in 30 years. People are going to talk to you about this for 30 years. Well, like we just did the 1,000th Top Fuel race, and you as the 900th winner, like that is a milestone. It might even transcend championships because you've got multiple and there's multiple champions. There's only one person who did this. So do you have a message for your fans out there?
Oh, well, thank you. First of all, thank you for saying that. But thank you to all my fans who, followed me throughout the years and follow me here to Joe's podcast and, just throughout our season. We're looking for a strong season. We want to make our sponsors proud, JFR proud, and the fans proud as well. So come by, say hi in Chicago. We'll be there all weekend.
Excellent. Brittany, thank you very much. Say hi to the fam. Of course, we'll see you in Chicago in a couple of weeks, and keep on trucking. Maybe this isn't the first. It's just the first, but not the last of the 341 interviews. Thank you, Brittany.
Thank you so much.
There she goes. Brittany Force with us here on WFO Radio, a historic milestone in the sport of NHRA drag racing. She gets it done. And that is something that will never be taken away. It is an amazing moment in drag racing history. Brittany Force, 341. Amazing.
This is WFO Radio.
Simply amazing. Brittany Force, 341.59. So great to catch up with Brittany, and just amazing. Some final thoughts after this.
The number one source of friction in your engine is not what you think. Piston rings rubbing against the cylinder walls generate more friction than any other part of the engine. More friction and temperature means more wear and less horsepower. Fortunately, the team at Total Seal knows how to reduce friction and wear through innovative piston ring design. If it takes a piston, Total Seal can build a better ring.
Redline oil, formulated to win, proven by me.
Redline oil, formulated to win.
Formulated to win.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Proven by me.
Proven by me.
Redline oil, formulated to win, proven by me.
Looking to replace your OEM diesel particulate filter or diesel oxidation catalyst? Look no further than DPF XFit, a complete line of aftermarket diesel particulate filters and diesel oxidation catalysts designed as an exact fit OEM replacement with all makes coverage for light, medium, and heavy-duty trucks. With thousands of units in stock, we ship the same or next day, and be sure to check out our comprehensive reverse OEM lookup tool. Always new, never remanufactured. For more information, be sure to visit dpfxfit.com. That's dpfxfit.com.
For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod Driveline Components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
So great catching up with Brittany Force after that 341, a historic milestone. For those of you who watch and listen to WFO Radio, whether it be the podcast feed or live on YouTube or X, you know that 301 by Kenny Bernstein, I was fortunate enough to be there and watch it, and I can still remember the moment. And I can only imagine the people that were at ZMAX Dragway for this race will feel that way years to come. When you see something in a moment, you maybe don't realize the significance, but that 341.59, I believe, will live through history and stand the test of time. We've been chasing it for many years. Austin Prock. It was first Bob Tasca who did it in Bradenton at the Skag Pro Shootout, a test session that is also kind of a grudge race. It's developing in Bradenton, the pro group, which is an organization of the racers. They put it on, and that was the first one a couple of years ago. And then last year at the finals, it was at the beginning of the 2024 season, to be absolutely specific. And then in the finals of the 2024 season, Austin Prock was the first to do it in sanctioned NHRA competition. This is the story of 340 miles per hour. And then here at the start of 2025, Brittany Force does it for the first time in a top fuel dragster anywhere in NHRA competition. And that number 340, it's just a major milestone. And to think Kenny Bernstein did it in 1992 to 1,320 feet, quarter mile. They were racing quarter mile, went 301. Now we're going 340 and 320 less feet, 320 fewer feet. It's really an insane accomplishment. And when you kick out these numbers to people in the world of motorsports, when you throw the numbers at them, do they even understand? Do they even 12,000 horsepower, 0 to 100 in less than a second, 0 to 340 miles per hour in less than 4 seconds? Can you understand it? It's really hard to understand unless you're an engineer. Everyone has been 100 miles per hour in a car. That's one thing that I have found over the years, that everybody's been 100. 150, I think the percentage of population goes way down. 200, it's a big deal if you go 200 at Bonneville. It's a big deal, like you're part of a super club. 250, 300. How many people on planet Earth have been 300 in a car that they're driving? It's a micro fraction. And now 340, there's 3 people on the Earth who have done it. With exception of the Salt Flats. We can talk about the speed trials at the Salt Flats, and that is a big deal, and I got great respect for them. But doing it on a track with other racers, wheel to wheel with you, or side by side in 1,000 feet, it's just pure insanity that it actually happened and may happen again throughout the course of the season. So I thank Brittany Force, John Force Racing, and everybody involved for making it possible for us to connect with Brittany. If you're new to WFO Radio, if you're just stumbling across this, the sport of NHRA drag racing is just so amazing when you fully understand all the details of what's going on behind the scenes. And that's what WFO Radio is all about. I encourage you to subscribe, click the bell, follow our channel. We do interviews every week. every week on WFO Radio. Sometimes they just pop up in the feed, but 1 o'clock Eastern time on Tuesday is our typical time slot. We do it each week. We've got great sponsors, as you know. The folks at Foggit, the spray that protects the inside of your racing engine, Foggit, available at summitracingequipment.com. Marvin Rodax Coffee. This is coffee that is imported from around the world, and it's just the best of the best. Small batches. It's not like a big macro coffee factory. It's micro. And you're going to get small batch coffee roasted fresh per your order. It's just better than anything you've ever had. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. Let me give you Marvin's number, 817-924-6821. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, the Dragster Adventure. Did an interview very recently with Randy Couture of UFC fame, 6-time world champion. And he is getting involved into the world of drag racing now. And he went to Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. You can too. If you just want to experience driving a car really fast, they've got a program that makes it very easy. It's called the Dragster Adventure. You just show up with your clothes on your back, and they provide everything for a day experience. FrankHawley.com. Bernie Speed Shop, BURNYZZ.com. They are buying and selling classic muscle cars, exotic cars. They do frame-off restorations, and they are the best in the business. They do movie props for a lot of big movies that I can't even tell you about. Go to Bernie's, BURNYZZ.com, and they are available on social media. You can see all their everything they've got. It's pretty amazing. HusseyPerformance.net, not just copperhead gaskets anymore, guys. Hussey does gaskets, oil pan gaskets, valve cover gaskets. You could probably tell that our sponsorship base is a hybrid of hardcore racing parts, and that's what Hussey Performance is, and services directed at the racing community. I'm real proud of our audience, that we are comprised of Lucas Oil Series racers, bracket racers, hobby racers, and fans of Mission Foods drag racing, people who are signed on to see Brittany Force. HusseyPerformance.net, check them out. Of course, you've seen Redline Oil, CWT Industries, that's Randy Neal's balance machine companies for machine shops, amazing. FTI Performance Transmissions and Torque Converters, Total Seal Piston Rings. Speaking of hard parts, and Jesse Catalytic Converters. It has been amazing. The season is 25% over, which is kind of shocking. 5 races in the books, but it's going to get better and better. So I encourage you to stay with us all season long. WFO Radio, follow the sport, follow along with us. And there's going to be a lot of great interviews, whether it be Brittany Force. How far will she go? What will she do? What kind of will she make a championship run? The past 2 seasons, it was kind of obvious that they were looking for performance. They were trying to find whatever it is that they now have. And I'm intrigued to see her go to Chicago and try to qualify at the race that she DNQ'd and broke like 157 race qualifying streak 1 year ago in 2024. I'm curious to see what the rest of the field has to raise their game and find more performance. Obviously, some of the rules changes that have been made by the NHRA, allowing the removal of the aerodynamic deflectors that were on the cars for so many years. You could see it in Brittany's car in the museum there. Now that those are gone, will we see another 340 mile per hour top fuel dragster over the course of the season? We do not know. We do not know. I want to remind everybody, we do have a Patreon listener base, patreon.com/WFO Radio. If you want to join the VIP listener club and get those secret shows, the secret shows where we're talking pro stock, we're talking behind the scenes details, maybe even a little more of the gossip on WFO Radio. Patreon.com/WFO Radio. And maybe get yourself some swag, whether it be shirts, hats. Everybody's pushing their swag, right? The retro Miami Hollywood Speedway shirts, and we've got everything, including my own race car, Project Pontiac, which we are working to bring it back out after the hard work to get it back on track during the winter break, going out and debuting in Orlando and Gainesville, and finally getting the family car back on track. Now it is amazing. Now we got to do it again, right? Again and again. Thanks to Brittany. Thanks to John Force Racing. A tremendous interview, a deep dive. Go watch her on Driven on NHRA's feed as well. But we appreciate you. We'll see you next time right here on WFO Radio. Thank you, guys.